So that was a quick overview, but what you have to remember is that we have Belgian people assisting MIT in Boston to make this place or this world a better place. As our next speaker now, I would like to introduce you to Mr. Leo de Bock. Mr. Leo de Bock is Director of Communication of Mr. Peters, Minister Peters. Welcome, sir.
Okay, thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, first of all, I would like to apologize to Vice Minister President Chris Peters for not being able to make it to this meeting due to a political meeting that succeeded to eventually dominate his agenda. And by the way, Chris Peters is a federal minister and he's responsible for employment, economy and consumer affairs. On days like this, when the bright minds of the world of data come together, we have a great opportunity, in fact, to look ahead. We can discuss the next step in a field that progresses at an impressive speed. Now that digital has become the new normal, what, one might ask, will be the next new extraordinary? The digital economy is one of the most dynamic and promising sectors in terms of development potential. Its possibilities for growth far exceed those of other sectors. Mobile data traffic doubles every year. The use of the internet does so every 2 or 3 years. Today, 4 million people work in ICT in the European Union, and their share increases with 3% per year, despite the economic crisis. For the federal government of Belgium, our prime goal is to translate this digital growth into jobs. This is why we are developing our what we call digital agenda. If we want to stay ahead as a digital nation, we'll need to invest. We have a more developed high-speed internet infrastructure than most other countries. We do not want to give up on that advantageous position. We instead wish to continue to invest in a 4G and LTE advanced network in Belgium. At the same time, we need to invest in our regulatory framework. We need to update our privacy legislation that dates back to 1992, which in digital terms is the Stone Age. Privacy is a key driver for digital progress. The digital revolution will come to a halt when people's trust diminishes. People have to be granted the right to information and the right to be overlooked, to be ignored, to be forgotten. Moreover, people need to feel safe whenever they go online. The government, therefore, wants to make the Cyber Security Centre operational this year. This centre will work out a strategy to secure our nation's digital network and the information, all the information we have online. Moreover, the Federal Public Service for Economy organises campaigns to raise awareness on the data and digital fingerprint that people leave online. In today's age of big data, these kinds of campaigns have become a necessity. Never before in the history of mankind, data have been collected, processed and linked at this massive a scale. A company's power today is not just valued in terms of capital, but also in terms of data. Data is, as you know, the new gold. Data means a company can produce, ship and market their products and services far more efficiently. The term big data is quite self-explanatory. Big companies, first and foremost, are capable of gathering a critical mass of data for useful analysis. Those companies have the means to buy data or to invest in data processing. The question, therefore, is how can we make sure that small and medium-sized companies those that somewhat are the backbone of our economy, can also become part of the big data story. And this is why the federal government is working on legislation that makes open data accessible to citizens, to companies and researchers. The exchange of data between governments and other organizations will strengthen literally every citizen and company. Sharing data means strengthening people. Companies that own data need to keep this in mind. Big data should be more than a new way to maximize profit. Big data should also benefit society. Take product information, for instance. It is abundantly present in digital networks, and it is used to reduce costs, boost productivity, and make marketing efforts more efficient. Product information is often highly specialized, technical, and exhaustive. It is so exhaustive that it confuses the average customer. And this is the point where big data should cross the boundary between economic logic on the one hand and social logic on the other hand. Let me give you one very concrete example. In December of last year, a new European regulation on food information to consumers came into force. This legislation will ensure that consumers get more information on the food products that are put on sale in stores. But given the abundance of information, it is difficult for the consumer to use this in a meaningful way. So, wouldn't companies rather share their product information with others who can present these data in a more comprehensive way? Isn't it socially responsible? Isn't it a corporate social duty for them to share information so that this legislation can actually be applied and we can make the consumer more aware, give him a chance to make rational decisions of his own? This is where data should be turned into knowledge. Now, some companies will consider this a threat, but frankly, they're wrong. If you take initiative, you create opportunities. You get ahead instead of trailing the pack. First of all, transparency about data creates trust. And trust always boosts business. Secondly, when companies provide their data directly, they can be sure that the data on the market are correct. Companies that continue to shield and hesitate and stay aloof make the wrong choice, because eventually the data will see the light of day anyhow. The huge multinational internet companies will put this data on the market sooner or later, and they will not wait for an agreement or any form of cooperation. Not necessarily. Ladies and gentlemen, big data is indeed big business, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. But it also means big responsibility. While having the new gold in your hands, you should think twice about what you use it for. Eleanor Roosevelt once said, and I quote, "If you need to handle yourself, you should use your head. But if you have to handle others, use your heart." I hope, and this is my minister speaking, hearts and minds will work together when we develop the new extraordinary, because that is what big data is. Now that digital has become the new normal, big data is the next leap. For now, I wish all of you a productive and fruitful conference. And together with Vice Prime Minister Peters, I do look forward to the great innovations that all of you, the bright minds of big data, will create in the years to come. I thank you.